The 1980s was a golden era for arcades, and kids were at the forefront of the action. Many of us have fond memories of spending long hours in the arcades, and there was always the one kid became known as the king of the arcade. It was a time before the internet and mobile gaming, and arcade games were the ultimate source of one versus one, multiplayer entertainment. Among the most popular arcade games during the period were Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Space Invaders. These games were simple but addictive and kept us drawn in for hours. No matter how bright the sun was shining or the time of day, the instant your checkerboarded van stepped onto the galaxy-themed glow-in-the-dark carpet, and the sounds of Van Halen, Chicago, and Journey filled the air, you realized, time didn't exist here. You were instantly transported to a pixelated wonderland where your imagination transforms your existence, as your hand frantically taps buttons, and flawlessly controlled the joystick. You were no longer controlled the character on the screen. You are now the hero, as you run through the castle's dark labyrinths, avoiding death at each new turn. Eventually saving the beautiful princess from the dragon's lair, you flew like an ace, piloting through deep space, bravely destroying wave after wave of unknown enemy invaders, mutant monsters, asteroid fields, eventually saving Earth from the alien overlords. Your existence became intertwined with the arcade, embarking on countless adventures. Your persona innately transformed the very moment the quarter slipped from your fingertips. The 80s kid who ruled the arcades may have grown up and moved on to other interests, but the memories remain. We remember the excitement of the flashing lights and sounds, the thrill of competing and winning, checking back in day after day to see if our high score still was prominent of our favorite game, and the friendships we forged. The arcade culture of the 80s may have faded away, but the nostalgia for those simpler times remains. Those were some of the fondest memories of our childhood, and we still hold them close to our hearts. Introduce retro gaming to the next generation, tripping your children's brains nostalgic switch as they store away fragment memories, beating you at your favorite game they were just introduced to. They'll run home from school counting the clock ticks excited as you walk through the door from work so game night can begin. But most of all, they will be sharing your passion for retro gaming. As adults, they'll get overly excited when bright neon colors, Saturday morning cartoons, Swatch watches, fake Valley girls, and jam shorts, all come rolling back in style. They'll think back to the stories you shared with them, vividly describing nostalgic moments from your childhood during long car rides. All the while, their eyes begin to roll, nearly touching the back of their heads, as the words "back when I was a kid" break through the car's silence. They know from experience what tall tales will be dramatically acted out in Shakespearean detail. As kids, the stories didn't mean much to them then, but now, it sparks fond pixelated flashbacks, infecting them with a strange involuntary urge to start the next sentence with the dreaded "you know when I was young" to their children. No matter the story or experience gets implanted into the next generation's young minds, they always conclude with a smile, and the same emotional words: "Those were the best times of my life." With home arcade systems, you can once again relive the most epic parts of your childhood, while creating bonding memories that will be shared and passed on from generations to come. Stay retro with home arcade systems.